I'm banned from Facebook Live for 28 days. Did you see that post?
Oh, what? Still?
So I posted that Jeffrey Dahmer for Thanksgiving thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm having the whole family over or something like that. I can't remember what it is.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
And they came out a couple of days ago and and they said, "Oh, we're taking the image down." And I was like, "Whatever, it's back from November." So then I hit them back with, "Well, I think this meets your community standards." And then they said, "We don't think so." Bam! I got a Facebook Live block.
Man, they have it out for you because you've been knocked off a few times.
I know. Like I think in the last 6 months, I've been knocked out of Facebook Live for 3 months.
That's an honor, actually, in my opinion. 'Cause
I think so.
Since they run everybody's social media life.
That's
And,
right.
Hey, A-Rock, I got no sound in the left ear unless I'm just going tone deaf.
Today's broadcast, it's rated men.
Let's see if it.
That he was stepping on the wires back there.
No, it's dead now.
It's kind of like a hose. You step on one end of the hose and it gets real big, swollen like a cartoon.
Yeah.
Then you let it go and it's like screaming at you.
Yeah.
It's like your water hose.
No, it's not. But I can still hear him.
No, it's nothing's working like it's supposed to. Go ahead and get the show started. Welcome to the show, Jason Bible. Brian Burr is here. It's the Texas Real Estate Radio Network, and we're talking about passive investing.
It's that day again, yeah.
It's that day. You sound like, whew, yeah, it's that day. We're back on the radio for a whole hour.
No, it's a great day, actually. So anytime we talk about that, it's phenomenal. So
Making money.
Making money, yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. I don't know about you. I am excited. Yesterday, Greg Abbott comes out on Texas Independence Day. I know he did it on purpose. Yeah. And he said, well, we can get rid of the masks and probably all the business restrictions starting Wednesday next week.
You know, when I heard that yesterday, I didn't even believe it when somebody told me, and I had to go rush to my phone, Google it, and find out. And I was like, God bless him for getting us back to normal as fast as possible.
Jeez, if I could recap this whole thing, I seriously thought we'd be down for like 12 weeks at most. The triage centers would all be set up at like Reliant. Like I thought that was where we were headed. And I'm like, a year later, like you've got to be kidding me. I just saw Alamo Draft House just filed for Chapter 11.
Did they?
Yeah, it's like, I've gone to the movies a half dozen times probably during this whole thing, and it's crazy. There's like 3 other couples like in the theater. You're looking around like, how are these people going to survive, right? We go to the restaurants, go to Papacitos. We'll go to Papacitos today or Papados, where we're going for lunch today at our 2:00. And it's like, there's like 6 tables in a restaurant that would be so loud you can't even talk to each other before Corona, right? So, to me, that's changed the way of investing, right? If you guys were thinking triple net leases for, high-end restaurants or national chains and all that, and all of a sudden you're not getting paid anymore.
Yeah.
This completely turned the world of investing upside down because it highlighted how important the dwelling is, the single family home, the apartment complex is.
If you think of how many industries have changed, like movie theaters was a perfect example. I don't think I'll ever go to another movie theater again because the way, my Netflix is set up, my Hulu account, I can get the movie the day it comes out pretty much. Just sit at my house and watch it. But I don't know.
What I'm finding is I'm a going out kind of person.
You like
so
to
it's
go to
kind
movies?
of, I'd like to go to the movies. And, the funny thing is we would almost intentionally pick out bad movies just so we could talk trash the whole time, As long as it's got one of the chairs that you got the lift up arms and they serve alcohol, it's like, this is perfect, right? So, but anyway, it's the entire world has changed. And I think the other thing that's fascinating is now they have precedents to do this again, right? Yeah. So just get ready, guys. Like this is the new world, right? So we're planning a bunch of events. I didn't realize like the last 24 hours, I feel like I've been this malaise for like 12 months where it's been like, oh, geez, at least maybe not 12 months, for like 8 months where it's like, okay, ready for the world to open back up. Like, let's like ready to go back to events, ready to do that. And then now I'm like, oh, here we go. It's going to be 4 or 5 days a week of just events and speaking and meeting with people and all that. It's going to be a blast.
It's exploded. I mean, our calendars alone, like how many events have hit our inbox on things that we are expected to participate in or going to be involved in. And I'm excited to jump back into it, to be honest with you, because I feel like I haven't seen certain people in years that.
Yeah, I was at one event. Where was that? Was that couple weeks ago on like a Friday night, and I'm like, wow. And it was, hey man, I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, I haven't seen you in like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a year, man. But you know what'll be interesting to see is how many people have changed and how many have stayed the same and how many have done nothing since we saw them, right? Yeah. And it's, there's going to be a lot of talk. You work with a lot of private lenders and a lot of investors, and it's going to be really interesting that first like big meeting with Quest. Right. I'm sure they'll have some big opening day kind of thing. And the conversation will be, hey, man, what did you do with your money over the last year? Oh, I was scared, and I just kept it in my checking account or kept it in my Quest Trust or a self-directed IRA account. And you're like, man, you probably lost hundreds, tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands of dollars in opportunity costs. Yeah. So there's some real fear out there. It's kind of wild. And it's, the people who get wealthy are the ones that just buck up and go do it.
Yeah. I mean, you have to actively be pursuing things to put you have to like put your money to work like you're whipping a rented mule, in my opinion. That's how active you need to be on insisting upon it having some type of return. Because if, like you said, if you park it in your bank account, if you sit it in a Quest account, it's not earning anything, right?
Yeah.
So you can't be fearful of where am I going to put my money. You need to continue to do your due diligence on something. That's why real estate is fantastic, because no matter how bad the market gets, real estate is always recovered.
Yeah. Real estate is I did a big presentation Saturday, and I watched Dr. Dotzauer's market kind of 2021 predictions that he made back in January 2 days ago. And one of the things I think a lot of people don't realize is the dollar has lost 10% of its purchasing power.
Yeah.
Like it's lost 10% of its value in a year. So if you're not invested in something, you already lost 10%.
Right.
So there's a reality here that people are going to start to confront, and it's going to be really uncomfortable. One of the things that I'm seeing all over the place right now, it's so funny. I've got real estate gurus that tell me the world is ending and there's a big real estate crash coming. And then I sit there and talk to real estate agents, and they're like, we're not getting anything under contract unless we go $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 over list on a $300,000 house. Right now, I might as well just let everybody know this. We're looking for a really nice place in Vegas in one of the big towers. Mm-hmm. And I've got 3 or 4 that we're making offers on. We're negotiating right now. They're very high end, and they're going to be really nice. Going to be part of Travel Club and all that. I was chatting with my agent down there in Vegas yesterday, and I said, man, I assume your market is just getting murdered. And he said, no, if you have a single family house between $200,000 and $400,000, it's gone in 2 days. Yeah. He said, now, the towers on the Strip, like what you're looking at, that market is softening rapidly because nobody's coming to Vegas, right? But he said, the stuff around there is doing fine. I said, yeah, but that city is so focused on entertainment and dining and casinos and that whole experience. And he said, yeah, but there's been so much pent-up demand for so long, it's just getting worse, right? So it's crazy. And it's not going to stop anytime soon. And as an investor, you got to put your money to work.
That's right. I mean, you think of in Vegas, especially, all those working girls that are just ready to get back out there. So you feel sorry for them. I'm sorry.
Oh, man. Where are we going to go with that?
Sorry.
Hey, A-Rock, can you put the Vegas pool party behind us on the green screen? All those poor, lonely girls.
Is it just, they got to get to work.
No, I'll tell you where they've been working. They're on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that's where they're at.
That's probably true.
So there's a couple of groups. We're gonna do a show when I get my house finished. It's gonna be called Real Estate After Dark, and we're gonna talk about all of this kind of stuff, right? Different businesses. We're gonna talk about real estate. We're gonna talk about. It's gonna be a show that's on the edge. I can already tell you that because Rob wants nothing to do with it. So
that's right. If he watches one episode, he's like, "That's not me."
That's not. Yeah. No, he'll watch.
You're on gold.
Yeah, he'll watch. He's just like, I'm not associated with any of the stuff that is that show, right? But anyways, so a lot of those gals in Vegas have actually moved to OnlyFans because that was one of my questions. Like, I'm researching all this stuff about Vegas, and I'm like, well, they've got a pretty large, significant portion of their economy is based on entertainment. So what does everybody do in entertainment? Yeah. And that's essentially one of the things that's one of the reasons why OnlyFans has exploded. So it's been a real interesting kind of ride to watch all that. No pun intended. But so yeah, Vegas would be pretty cool. But yeah, I've been surprised that market is even exploding. And so the question is, what's going on in these real estate markets? And as a passive investor, here's what I'll tell you. If you want to invest in real estate, in notes, in syndications and funds, you better do it now.
Right.
Because we're down almost 60% nationally with inventory. So if you think that there's going to be all these notes that you can buy and there's going to be all these syndications you can get into and there's going to be this big real estate crash, I hate to tell you, it's not going to happen.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Texas, our market's the best market. I mean, I think by far.
Oh yeah.
Anytime you're on the phone with somebody who's not in our market and you tell them you're from Houston, Texas, or Dallas, or Austin, they're like, "Oh my God, you know how lucky you guys are to be investors in that particular market."
Oh yeah.
I'm sure we'll jump back to.
Yeah, we'll jump back into real estate investing in the markets. Jason Bible, and Brian Burr, Texas Real Estate Radio Network.
I still got nothing, A-Rock, just so you know.
We're still dead over here.
It doesn't matter. We'll just roll through it.
Let me go. You're on what?
What number are you on? 3.
Check that one over there. No, those are
Oh, that's for the mic.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, check this one down here. Is that it right there?
By the chair?
No, he's got that disconnected for something else, right?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm just making sure it's all the way plugged in.
I don't know. Still nothing?
Still nothing, right?
No.
You know, a different pair of headphones?
I mean, I can hear you.
Okay.
It's not a big deal.
I want the
It's
premium.
just for looks then.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Just so I don't look funny.
Go live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, Jason Bible and Brian Burr, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Hey, we're missing you on that 75 hard challenge.
I'm with you.
In spirit, right?
No, I mean, I haven't drank since you started the challenge.
Uh-huh.
I've exercised, and I've read at least a chapter a day.
You got to work out twice a day.
Well, I mean,
And you got to take a selfie.
I'm not doing that. You take a selfie every day on the thing?
That's what they tell you. Yeah, you got to take progress pic.
Shirt on or shirt off?
I don't know. I've just been taking pictures, man.
You going to share those? Or
I probably will when I get towards the end of the challenge. I screwed up today. I was on the I was doing squats and I deloaded squats because I haven't done them in like 6 or 8 weeks. And I use 5x5. So M days, you guys are gonna love this going back to college. M days I'm doing 5x5, and then T days I'm doing a V taper program. If you're kind of familiar with dudes working out, so I'm just working on chest, arms, and back. So, anyways, I'm going through the app so fast. I wasn't paying attention. I was doing like 900 other things. Like typically when I go to the gym, I'm waiting because of course they only have 3 squat racks in a gym that's 25,000 square feet. Because why would you have more squat racks, right? One of the things I'm realizing when I chat with a lot of guys is you really need to join like a power lifter like gym if that's the stuff you're going to do, because most of these modern gyms, they just have, it's all machines and stuff, right? And if I wasn't moving from the heights, there's one literally right around the corner, and it's a pretty cool place in the parking lot of Huey's. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm just slapping weights on, right? I'm not paying attention, and I thought it said 25 pound. Instead, it said 2.5. So I'm doing my warm up set, and I'm like, dude, this is a little bit heavier. I'm like, all right, whatever. So then I slap on the other weights, and I was like, oh, it's a lot heavier. And then I get halfway through my workout, and I'm like, and I looked at it, I was like, this is almost 200 pounds. And I'm like, oh, oops. It's supposed to be like 130, 140. I'm like, well, looks like I'm good here, so I'm just going to keep going. So
you're maxing out that day?
it wasn't even that bad. You know what I realized is I just don't push myself that much on the weight side because I don't know where that limit is, and I don't want to get stuck and then squeal for some guy to, oh God, come over here. Well, they've got everything where you can drop them, right? So I just drop them, but of course everybody's going to freak out because they're not bumper plates, they're steel plates.
Oh yeah.
So as soon as you roll them off, I mean, it makes a tremendous noise. And then of course everyone looks around like, geez, what Godzilla just dropped that? And they look at you and they're like, dude, that's only 250 pounds. Like, what is wrong with that guy? I saw a guy on the bench the other day. He damn near was doing 500 pounds. I mean, the guy was a gorilla. Yeah, he was like, guy had to have been a foot taller than me and 3 feet wider. Dude was enormous. He just kept slapping him on, and I kept looking over there, and I was like, Jesus, this guy gotta stop. And then I was like, well, I'll help him out with a spot. I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to help that guy out.
Yeah, if he gets stuck, he's over.
Yeah. We need 2 dudes to get it off your neck, man. All right. Anyway, so back to real estate.
Yeah.
So if you're waiting around for the crash, and I don't want to put my money to work. I'm like, it's not going to happen. Real estate, a lot of people don't know. Real estate actually functions in 20-year cycles. It's not every 10 years. So we're only halfway through this current cycle.
Yeah.
So if everybody's waiting for the real estate crash and then I'm going to get in, I'm like, you're going to be waiting another 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way I look at it. Like, 'cause, I mean, I hear, being in real estate, you hear both sides of the argument. I personally don't feel anything is coming at the moment, but I mean, we're going to continue doing what we're doing. It doesn't matter. It does, the market doesn't matter to some degree, but you're still going to go buy. You're still going to invest your money, right? Good times and bad. And so you're still going to go do what you're going to go do. You're going to get some houses better pricing if the market does go crazy.
Yeah.
And you're still going to make money by buying a different set of assets whenever the market's out, out over the top. You're going to sell out some of the things that won't cash flow, right? Like you guys do. If taxes get too crazy, I mean, it won't cash flow. Sell it, liquidate it, and then buy something else where you can cash flow it. I don't know.
The biggest audience in the last couple of years I've ever spoken in front of was almost 4,000 folks, and I got on stage and I said, "How many of y'all 5 years ago regret not buying more houses?" And everyone raises their hand like, "I wish I just bought more." And I'll tell you, 5 years ago, everybody thought there was a crash. And 5 years before that, there was this huge crash. And it was like every time you get in front of, that's why I always like to get up in front of a group and say, "Hey, how many of you guys have been doing this for 5 years or longer?" And then a bunch of people raise their hand. How many of you regret not investing more 5 years ago? And same people have their hands up. It's like, yeah, you sit around and you can what if this thing to death, but something Rush Limbaugh used to say is if is for children. And he's absolutely right. It's if I did this, if I did that, coulda, shoulda, woulda. That's all for children. This is adult time.
Yeah.
And you've got to sit down and make a real hard decision. And the problem is that the decision, not making a decision, like you really need to make a decision, I'm not investing in real estate, then go spend your time not going to the networking events and all that.
Right.
Like otherwise, then you're just wasting your time going to these networking events and not investing.
Right.
So if you're going to invest, then let's make that decision. Let's go do it. So if they want to look at some of the stuff that we've got notes 7 to 8%, actually 9%. We've got notes from 7 to 9%. We have a fund. We have syndications. What's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah. So the three main asset classes that we have that you can contact me about, we do private lending, syndications, and mortgage notes. And somebody wants to reach me directly, you can contact me through my cell phone, which is 713-620-8148, or you can email me at Brian, BRIAN, at mrtxre.com. That's probably the best way to reach out to me.
Okay.
But that's what makes us unique is because, it doesn't matter where somebody's at in their real estate investing career. If you're brand new and have an interest in investing in real estate, you can plug into our events. We have a mastermind set up to where we can teach you, almost basically do a deal for you and hand it off to you. Right? Yeah. And then if you're just a guy who's got capital, who has no interest in being a landlord, private lend to somebody that's within our organization. We've already vetted the deal.
Yeah, or just give us your money. Yeah. We know exactly what to do with it, right? We've done this 1,000 times already. And if you're like, hey, I'm not sure, I'd like to make a little money but learn at the same time, lending is a great way to do it, right? Buy one of the notes, they can come along with us on one of the deals, and they can see how the whole thing works. Right. So, but I'm telling you, that time frame, at least in the Houston and Dallas-Fort Worth market, is maybe 18 to 24 months. Then after that, we're going to be talking about San Antonio and Corpus Christi for single family, right? So if you want to learn how to do single family real estate, if you want to be a part of this massive ride-up in appreciation, then now is the time to get involved with our group and get involved with you.
Yeah. That's what's, now that we just got the mandate, right, or the mask thing lifted, and we can start holding events again, I think that should bring in a whole new group of people who have interest in doing real estate. Because all the people in my past industry, our past industry, healthcare, right? I get phone calls from them all the time asking about how can I either be involved in real estate if they don't have enough time, but they have capital. Most of these are high income earners. Participate passively with something that we're doing, and you're in real estate. You know what I'm saying? So you just need to do something because you're losing slowly every single day.
That's right.
By just sitting on the sidelines.
And I can tell you right now, nobody believes the numbers in the stock market right now.
I don't. No, it's crazy.
Well, this is the way I like to put it. Well, they're like, well, Jason, then why is real estate going up through the roof? I'm like, well, it's real simple. Do I need to live? Like, what is it? What is a stock certificate going to get me? Like, do I need a stock certificate to live? No, but I need a roof over my head.
Right.
And the population right now that is buying those new homes, is starting new families, buying a first-time home, is about 33 years old. And there's a huge population of folks, and that's what's driving all of these prices. Yeah. And that's not going to stop for 10 years. So if you want to be a part of that wealth building experience, now is the time to do it. If you're waiting, it's going to be gone.
Right.
It's going to be gone. And now, does that mean in 10 years it's going to be a real big crash? Probably not. It's probably just going to be a little slowdown. And then it's going to pop right back up until somebody figures out how to build new homes where they're not as expensive. But I was on Dr. Dotzauer's presentation. He said they're going to push out all these new green building initiatives, and they're probably going to get it. Right. So construction's only going to become more expensive. So new homes are going to get more expensive. That means currently, used homes, if you will, are going to be more expensive. So, all right, we'll get back from break. We'll talk more about passive investing in real estate. It's Jason Bible, Brian Burr, Texas Real Estate Radio Network.
Once that TV comes in, it's going to be nice.
Yeah, we really need the TV up and the lights up, and there's just like this is like this is like when you moved into your new house. Your new place was a lot bigger than your old place, right? So it's like you're going through the house, you're like, need these lights, this extension cord, this. It's like every time you go to Home Depot, it's $500 for like the first 6 months, right?
It's true, yeah. When you think it's this amount, it's actually, all the little ancillary things you got to buy to make it the way you want it.
And now you got Mama at home. She's probably just writing lists every day.
Oh, dude, she's. We have an Excel sheet where we share in our expenses. Like she puts in hers, I put in mine. And when you look at that every single month, like I only have probably 2 things I buy a day, which is like lunch and maybe like a snack home or dinner. She's got Amazon. She's got hair appointments, nail appointments.
Yeah.
I'm just like. That's why she's got like 3 columns per day, and I only have like 1 or 2. And
have you read through Aaron's book?
The one that I haven't gotten it. No, I haven't read it yet.
So here's a little stat. He's on one of the shows right now. You want to fire it up? Welcome back, Jason Bible, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. I'm here with Brian Burr, and we're actually talking a little bit about Aaron Clarey's new book. He was on one of the podcasts that I watch for like 2.5 hours, and he said, he's an economist, but he's a finance guy by training. And he said everyone in the personal finance space has analyzed everything, like from cars to retirement to all this other stuff, with one exception, and that is relationships. And he goes, I get it. Like, this is the third rail. Like, nobody wants to talk about this. But he looked at it from a guy's perspective. Makes sense. He's a guy. In fact, in his book, one of the things you'll read in his book is he'll say, we really need of a female, a woman, to come out and write her own book, like the other side of this thing. And he said, be happy to work with somebody. They have an actuary and a bunch of stuff that did the numbers. But he said, the most expensive thing a man will ever do is pursue a member of the opposite sex. And he sat down with an accountant and an actuary, and they pulled nationwide statistics and all this other stuff. And he said, it is the most expensive thing a man will ever do. So I think it's the first time anyone's ever done that. And it's a fascinating read. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, you could go down that rabbit hole to where, not only the pursuit, but in the event you're trying to exit, it can be pretty costly.
He has a whole chapter on disposal costs.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's called in accounting, right? So he's an accountant and all that other stuff. So it is a fascinating, fascinating read. Like, a lot of people have gone into how much does it cost to have a kid? How much does it cost a lifetime to have a kid? Like, all that stuff. And so, but no one's analyzed relationships. And so he analyzed relationships. It's very, very interesting. Yeah. His new book's called, The Book of Numbers, the ROI and the Pursuit of Women, which is very, very interesting. It's analytical approach to it. So if you guys have not read that one, it's entertaining. So you got to read this kind of stuff because it expands your mind a little bit.
I'm going to read it. It's on my desk. You gave it to me. The cover is perfect. I love the cover.
So one of his buddies, Rollo Tomasi, wrote that, does the cover. He's an artist and some other things. Rollo's probably written one of the most important books ever called The Rational Male. He's on his 4th book now. I'm rereading it right now for the 75 hard, and it's really good. But I love the cover. It is great. And so I've been meaning to send Rollo an email and say, hey, would you make posters of these and like sign them? Yeah. He's big into rescuing greyhounds, which I didn't know greyhounds are really expensive. Yeah. Like they're expensive to maintain and all that stuff. So I'm like, hey man, do these for like your Greyhound charity. It'd be great. So anyway, long story short, passive investing will let you spend more time with your Greyhounds.
You can read more books.
And you can read more books.
That's right. That's right.
you, you ought to see my stuff I watch on YouTube, because sometimes I'll pull up my YouTube and we're going to watch something and I get this, what are you watching? And I'm like, this is great. It's Aaron's stuff and all that. So
on YouTube, I mean, I've learned a ton off that. I mean, it's you know, all the stuff that you can find out on how to, there's things on how to invest on YouTube, past different types of, there's a lot of bad information out there.
Oh, a lot of terrible information.
But,
type it, actually, you know what? You want to type in something funny? You guys go to YouTube right now and type in real estate crash and pick a year. Like real estate crash 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017. And you'll see all these gurus, like the same guys that are predicting a real estate crash this year or next year are predicted a real estate crash the last 10 years. And it's like, it still hasn't happened, man.
And honestly, like if they're making those videos, I don't think I would want that on record if I'm basically claiming a crash is coming this year and it doesn't occur, and then everybody can go back to my
oh yeah,
my DVD of my life. And
that's right, yeah. Well, you know what's so funny is no one ever goes back. That's what I think is so funny. It's kind of like all these real estate gurus. I got called out today on email being a real estate guru. And I'm like, I don't, you know, whether I am or I'm not, you can go to the county clerk's office and you can see how much real estate I own.
Is somebody we know?
No, some clown on our email list. And then you go down to Patent Title and say, well, these guys close deals here? And they go, they close a lot of deals with us. So it's like, yeah, whatever, man. What's fascinating about that is if you're a real estate guru and you're pitching a foreclosure or the world's going to end class, why do you still own real estate? You'd sell all that, right? Right before the crash? This would technically be before the crash? Yeah. So it's all a bunch of lies. It's all a bunch of nonsense.
And if you're a guru who's thinking about the world coming to an end, like you said, you sell all your real estate, right? Mm-hmm. But wouldn't you do the courtesy of your followers to let them know where to put that money if they're going to follow what you're saying?
That's true.
Wouldn't you?
That's true.
Right? You're going to cash now. Fantastic.
Now what? Yeah, now what? I'll tell you, well, maybe we ought to talk about that. If there is a real estate crash imminent, I'll tell you exactly what I do. Cash everything out and short builders and banks, mortgage companies.
Yeah.
That's all you'd have to do. And then just wait.
Yeah.
If you really think there's going to be a crash in the next 12 months, that's how you do it. You'll get filthy rich, and then you wait, and then as things start to come up, you sell all those positions, you close those positions out, and then you go right into buying more real estate.
Honestly, I think of all the videos that have been shown on YouTube about people predicting this crash coming, is just asking them in the comments section, have you sold all your real estate?
Yeah, have you sold all your real estate?
They're not, then shut
up. You don't know what you're talking about. When you guys, live events are going to be back here in Texas here in the next week or so, and you're going to start going to the hotel rooms of all these different gurus and investment advisors and all that. Hey, there's a real estate crash coming. Great. Raise your hand. Have you sold all your real estate?
Yeah.
Now, they might slyly say yes, and then you go, great, well, how much did you sell? Because that's what I like to know too. How much, it's funny, I have this, I'm not going to mention him here, but, they challenged me on Facebook and they said, hey, well, Jason, why don't we have a friendly wager on whether or not there's a crash or not? I'm like, I don't have a friendly wager. I have 30 million of my money and my investors' money bet on the fact that we are absolutely nowhere close to a real estate crash. Because I'll tell you what, if I truly thought there was a real estate crash coming, we would liquidate our fund yesterday. We'd close all of our syndications. We'd literally shut everything down and wait.
Yeah. And we were talking about this. If let's play this out. Let's say it occurred, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet you most people would agree upon the government stepping in and having some type of bailout. Right.
Oh, I will tell you, if you've not watched that Mark Dotzauer presentation, the email I sent out today, it's queued right to that point where Dotzauer basically says, look, even all these properties in forbearance, the government will not allow a 2008 over again. Right. Neither will the banks. All they're going to do is they're going to work these things out. They're going to let some they'll have to foreclose on, but the vast majority of them, they're just going to allow it to work out. They're going to keep kicking that little can down the road until these homeowners can get it turned back around. There will never be, this is the point of the email I sent out today, there will never, ever, 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 ever be a 2008 ever again. Yeah. I am so confident in that. Never going to happen again. Now, you could have an ice storm, a Hurricane Harvey, you could have a Hurricane Sandy, you could have a Santa Monica earthquake that'll impact prices for a year or two. You're not going to have a 2008, everything goes to pot. It's not going to happen. They're not going. Look, guys, they printed $10 trillion for you to sit at home and watch Tiger King for a year.
You're right. Yeah.
They're debating, they're going to spend another 1.9 trillion as we speak, of which less than 10% actually goes towards coronavirus stuff to make sure it never happens again. In fact, the moderator asked Dotzauer, what happens if we have like a change in the virus and it's more deadly and they decide to shut the whole country down again? He said they will print 3 trillion a quarter. Like he rolled it off just like that. This is what they're going to do, 3 trillion a quarter. And I was like, oh, so someone's already had that conversation.
Right. And generally when people are printing money like it's out of control, which it is, and inflation is almost guaranteed, right? Asset prices usually increase, right? Why would you sell all your real estate?
I don't get it. In my email I sent, I want to say Monday or maybe Friday, Saturday last week, I found a quote from the chairman of the Federal Reserve that said, M2, the velocity of money, doesn't seem to matter anymore. He literally said in front of Congress, it doesn't really matter how much money we print because we don't see an impact on the dollar. It was the craziest thing I think I've read in a long time. We get back from the break. We'll talk more with Brian Burr about passive investing. Jason Bible, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Yeah, dude, I don't see. I had to send you that quote. It is pure batshit crazy.
Is that from Powell? Who was that?
Yeah, Powell came out and he goes, well, I talked about it in my presentation. Well, I mean, back we used to study economics, like it used to matter, but it doesn't really seem to matter how much we print. It doesn't seem to affect the dollar any. And I'm just looking at the dollar and I'm like, it's down 10% year to date. It's like, what are you talking about, dude?
Everybody can agree upon it. It's absurd.
It is absolutely absurd.
It's funny. There was an interview going on between who's Warren Buffett's partner again?
Charlie Munger.
Charlie Munger. Munger.
Munger. I always screw up how you pronounce it. Munger or Munger?
So the interviewer was talking about. He goes, "Isn't it remarkable on how much the Fed has been continuing to printing money?" And he's like, "Remarkable." He's like, "It's astounding." It's basically. I think that's the wrong word for it.
Yeah,
remarkable,
exactly.
Like it's like a positive thing.
Oh yeah. I will tell you right now, Charlie's the brain trust between the two of them. He is the real badass. All right, ready to go? Welcome back, Jason Bible, Brian Burr, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. I'll tell you, out of all the investors I'd love to meet, like I'm not one of these guys that has like my idols and when she signed my wedding, like I'm just not that dude. But I'll tell you who I'd love to meet. I'd love to meet Charlie Munger, and I'd love to meet Carl Icahn. I could do without Warren Buffett because I think he's full of nonsense. But let me give you a good Warren Buffett story. Do y'all remember when Warren came out and he got really environmental? Like he was all about that Keystone pipeline. Y'all remember that? And he was calling Obama and he's like, I really think we ought to do responsible investing and all that. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, why does Warren care about any of this stuff? And then I was like, oh, he just bought that railroad. He bought BNSF or whoever it is that he bought that railroad company like 6 months before. So then I looked up, found their financials. And I'm like, I wonder how much oil these got. I'm like, oh, it's a huge piece of their revenue. I'm like, of course he doesn't want that pipeline going in because it's going to directly impact the railroad he just bought. And I'm like, come on. But he just bull-faced lying, right?
His investment.
It's right. It's his investment. I'm like, I get it. Just if you're going to talk your book, say, just be honest. Be like, hey, guys, we bought this railroad. And, even though I have some environmental concerns about the free-range elk and the Keystone Pipeline, I really don't want it to impact my portfolio.
Yeah. A little biased.
Yeah, a little biased. Sounds like he's Uncle Warren's a little biased.
Yeah. It's I don't know, but when it comes to passive, we have the call today at 1:00 just to kind of circle back. But today's call is going to be a little interesting because I'm actually going to share one of the secrets I've done with my credit line that I pulled from my home equity.
Oh, you're going to share that secret, huh?
It's my best kept secret, and it's not really a secret. Anybody can have access to it, but we talked about it.
Yeah,
and it's something that excites me because it allows me to invest more. Using leverage from the equity I have in my house.
So here in Texas, you can borrow, I always forget the rule, 80% or 70% of the appraised value of your home.
Because I had no prior relationship with this particular bank, I think they gave me up to 65% of the loan to value.
It's somewhere 60. By state law, it can't be more than like 70 or 80. I can't remember what it is. Home equity lines have their own rules. So anyways, you can borrow against the equity in your house, and then go invest in syndications and private loans and all that. It's pretty sweet. And Brian's been doing that you've been doing that for years. So it's a fun little way to get some extra cash and be able to leverage up your return a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I remember, back in the day when, Lifestyles, they were talking about debt equity in your property, or having a house paid free and clear makes no sense with mortgage rates so low. Yeah. And I remember I went into one of the things, it was like after I had paid my house off, and I was so excited, and I was like, they were talking about, when you sit down with them with their mentors or whatever, they talk about assets, and I was like, I got my house paid for free and clear, and they're like, that's the dumbest thing you could have done. Why'd you go do that? But then, not to insult me any further, but they were like, look, there's a way that you can leverage against it. But I didn't do that till years later to find out how I could leverage a line of credit against that.
Well, where I think people make mistakes is you go get that line of credit, kind of like you're cashing out your 401k. You wait till you know what you're doing, and you've got a good deal in front of you. Like a lot of people, they'll take all their money out of their 401k, or they'll take a significant portion out, but they don't have any deals, and then they get all worked up over finding a deal. They get deal greedy, right? They're like, gotta find a deal, gotta find a deal, gotta find a deal. And then they misappropriate those funds. They put it towards a really bad deal because this cash is like eating at the back of their mind. Right. The nice thing about a home equity line of credit, they don't charge you anything until you start using it.
Right, yep.
They just wait.
And it's like, the difference between a home equity loan is they usually will have some type of charge once you go to pull out like a bulk. The line is they can pay it back freely. You can, they don't even ask you what it's for once you have it established.
That's right.
And they just wire it to your bank account, and then you can go and invest with it. And there's going to be a monthly debt service, just like any other loan, but usually these are very, very small. 3% is what they originated me at, but they didn't charge me anything to establish the line.
That's great.
Freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
But and I've referred that company, that particular bank, to probably 5 or 6 of my closer friends. And every month we talk about how great it's been to where you can go lend, on a note, or go invest into something that pays monthly, and then pay that debt service monthly and keep the spread. Yeah,
I mean, we've got stuff that pays 9% preferred return, right?
Yeah.
You're borrowing at 3, you're paying at 9, you're making a 6.
Yeah, which is more than 6%. Fair to somebody who's not doing. You're just getting a check.
Yeah, you're just getting it. Yeah, let's talk about this. Is passive investing. Right. This is true. This is real mailbox money. Being a landlord is not mailbox money. Being a note investor, someone who's on the syndication on the passive side, that's real mailbox money. All that other stuff takes work. Right. Let me put it this way. Nobody who had one of our notes was getting calls about plumbing 2 weeks ago. Right? Or tenants doing whatever, or this tenant moratorium, like their checks were still coming in. Right? So that's the important piece when you look at investing is what is my real rate of return? Like how much energy am I going to have to put in this thing to actually make it produce?
Sure. That's right. Yep. Because there's the active investment, and there's pros and cons to everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like to own the asset, to be the landlord, you're going to ride that appreciation wave to where you one day cash out big, right? And there's going to be some stream of cash flow upon the holding period. And so I'm not knocking that at all, but I'm saying like some people just where they are within their lives, sometimes just remaining a passive investor may be perfect today. Usually the older crowd usually doesn't want to have to deal with active management of real estate.
Yeah, I can tell you, like my parents and yours are the same way. Like they don't want to go traipsing around some dirty, flea-ridden piece of junk property and manage a rehab and put tenants in there and deal with tenant nonsense and all that. I mean, it's like they just want to get their check every month so they can go play golf and work in the wood shop and all that other stuff. It's like they don't want to deal with all that nonsense. And so that's one of the things when we started working with you is let's develop this note program, these syndications, some of this other stuff. So when, truthfully, I'll tell you let me give you guys a little transparency here. The reason we're doing a lot of these different things, because at some point, Rob and I are going to have to retire, and you're going to have to retire. Do you think we're going to go put our money in the stock market? No. We're going to put our money in the next up-and-coming investor that is willing to go traipse around in the flea-ridden piece of junk, single-family house or apartment complex, fix it up and rehab it and put tenants in there. So really, we're securing our retirement operationally by developing this system, right? And so it's just a self-serving thing and happens in perpetuity. So that's why we're doing it, and that's why we think you should too.
Yeah, and if you think, an active role in real estate, if you do have systems in place, it makes it more like a passive type of, in my opinion. But if you got good property managers that are actually caring about the properties, caring about the tenants they're putting in those units, that it can kind of lean more towards a passive lifestyle. But yeah, like flipping a house, that's clearly active. But
Yeah.
there's a good payday on there if you've done your numbers correctly. I just can't imagine somebody that wants to retire late in life saying, I want to go flip a house.
Yeah, I'll pass. I'm already over flipping houses, to be honest with you. Just turned 43. I'm like, I don't want to flip another house the rest of my life. As excited as I am for my personal house, I'm like, oh, jeez, it's going to be another 3 or 4 months of this nonsense. I already got to go out there today and take pictures and video and send it to the architect and engineer. Like, I'm already over it. I'm like, I'm ready to move in.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it to be done.
Yeah. You know it's not passive if you walk into like a Floor and Decor or a Home Depot.
That's right.
Like, Brian, what's up?
Hey, man, what's going on? Oh, you were here this morning. And you're like, oh, yeah. In fact, I need to go to Home Depot and I got to pick stuff out for the house. Yeah. But it's like, I'm already like, I'm just over this.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of we have a lot of active friends that do that. They make a ton of money.
Make a ton of money doing it. Yeah.
And you can do both. That's the thing. The road is not, doesn't close off to one side or the other.
Yeah. We got a ton of people in our group that put their IRAs in our fund or they put it in their syndication and they go out and buy single family houses as rental properties. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
So what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Cell phone, if you want to text me or call me, 713-620-8148, or email me. Just reply if I say hello back to you. That'd be great.
Yeah.
It's Brian, Brian, @mrtxre.com.
You've not gotten any inappropriate text messages yet?
No.
Oh, boy, but that's going to change. All right, thanks for listening, guys. Jason Bible, Brian Burr, Texas Real Estate Radio Network, and we will see y'all tomorrow. No inappropriate text messages?
Nothing yet, yeah.
It's been a while since I did a couple Facebook Lives, so we're jumping back on here to try and be a little more congruent, if you will, to getting these things out. And I just wanted to share a little bit about what we've been watching, what we've been seeing here in the marketplace. And our market is Southeast Texas, but the data is holding up in a lot of places. We can see this stuff across the country, in secondary markets and tertiary markets and primary markets. Houston is a primary market and Corpus Christi is a tertiary market, and we're investing in both. And the numbers are phenomenal. They're absolutely phenomenal. So we're seeing this stuff pop up all the time, and the data that's coming back and the trends that we're seeing are, in our estimation, look a lot more like 2013 than it does 2008. Meaning we think there's a nice bit of run here from 2013 to 2019. 6 years were fantastic for real estate. And if you're watching from California, I would say this is almost exactly like 2013, 2014. If you're a real estate professional or real estate investor, you'll know that those years had massive spikes. We're seeing the rise in value of homes. It's just basic supply and demand. Sales go down, supply goes down, price goes up. We're seeing that across every matrix that we can look at here in Southeast Texas. Again, my name is Robert. I'm with Mr. Texas Real Estate. You should check out our website, mrtxre.com. Go ahead and throw that in there. And we're feeling very excited about the next 5 years. And so I just want to spend a little time here with you today. We'll wrap this up in about 5 minutes. But in every aspect of real estate, we see a boom. And I know people are waiting for the crash and all this other stuff. And we think there's going to be some adjustments in the marketplace, just not in the next 18 to 36 months. And if you're a real estate professional, I would say, hey, man, it is time to dust off that license, go get your CEs, get reactivated, and get out there. There's been a massive shift in the marketplace in the last 6 months, 9 months. We're hearing agents just can't get offers accepted. They've got retail clients, and they're having to pay $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 over asking. This is great as a seller. It's a seller's market. There's ways to handle that. So if you're a real estate agent, I would dust my license off. Even more so, I would be looking to become a loan officer, right? A loan originator, the refis, all that market's still going to boom for the next 36 months. We see it as just a lot of opportunity. And so anyone who's in the real estate world, whether you're an investor or a professional, you should have a really good 3 years here in Southeast Texas. You should have a very good 3 years. For those folks that we talk about in our buy and hold mastermind, that 3-year run is going to be good. And it's going to be even better at the end of 5 years because you're going to be able to sell off half your portfolio at a peak market and then get out. Now, can there be all these outside events that happen? Yes, there can be a lot of events that's going to affect the marketplace. But as they love to say in economics, all things being equal, we see a really good run here for 36 months leading into 60 months. And it would be behoove you to get your license, to get in. Again, if you're not working, you're still one of those unemployed, it's time to look at real estate. Give us a shout at 281-401-9008. Just text us to that number, and we can have a conversation about getting involved in loans, getting involved in real estate transactions, or becoming an investor, joining the mastermind, all that. But the data is showing, and Jason's going to provide some of that data coming up here in the next few days. Boy, the next 5 years are looking really good for anyone in and around real estate. We're seeing it already. We're seeing hard money lenders that are just popping. We're seeing inspectors. We're seeing appraisals that are 4, 5, 6 weeks out. Agents talking about just tons of transactions happening. Hard time, just sellers market, and they're pushing. I mean, all this stuff is happening right here, right now, Southeast Texas. And so, if you're in Southern California and that market's a little bit flat, there's some adjustments going on there. Retail market's doing very, very well. If you're an investor, getting a little tight out there, certainly tighter than it is here in Houston. Same thing with Vegas. It's time to get on a plane to come to Houston. The governor just opened up the state as of next Wednesday. Deal with COVID as you see fit. And, here at the center, we're going to do some things and be preventive. But this state is back in business next Wednesday, 100%. And so we'll be doing more webinars. We'll be doing more live events. We'll be doing bus tours. We'll be doing all that stuff. And we're super excited to get this next 5 years running out here, because it's only a matter of what time you're getting in the market, right? And when's the best time to invest in real estate? Yesterday. When's the second best time to invest in real estate? Today. And again, we're seeing this marketplace. We're seeing the data. We're feeling really, really good about the market that we're in, Southeast Texas, and the way that we're moving forward, building out a rental portfolio, getting positioned in 5 years to sell half to keep the other half free and clear. If any of that excites you, or if you know anyone who's thinking about getting into real estate, send them over. We have this huge building, our 30,000 square foot building, and we have EXP in here. We've got mortgage companies. We've got hard money lenders. We've got engineers. We've got flippers. We've got inspectors. There's got a whole bunch of people in the building where you can, wholesalers, lawyers, or you can really start getting into it and becoming a real estate professional. You're going to have a really good 5 years. Now, on the outside of that, I don't know. But man, the next 5 years is going to be pretty good. So there's no reason to wait anymore. It's time to get in. Today is the day. And again, we feel like the next 5 years are going to be fantastic. Well, that's it. I'll cover some more things this week. We appreciate you guys following us and listening to us. And we really hope to see you over here at the Texas Real Estate Investment Center. Take care, guys.